All right, guys, what's going on? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. And today I want to talk about Call of Duty, actually, with the big event being today, the Call of Duty Next event. I thought it not only made sense, but also because I think there's just something that recently popped into my mind, and I thought it was interesting enough to make a video about it. I also want to briefly ask the people of SM Squared or SM2 a question for any one of them that happens to see this, because one of them has seen my videos before and replied in the comment section way back during the Cold War days. And again, with the big event coming with Call of Duty, it just makes all the sense to me. Now, in terms of why there's no Call of Duty gameplay in the background, for those of you guys that have been here long enough, you know why there's not, so I really don't want to delve into that because that's not what this video is about. So let's get right into it. So now, Halo has an upcoming Forge coming out. For those of you guys who don't know what Forge is, it's basically a map editor, and it's going to be a map editor to the nth degree. You can create all sorts of maps from literally anything. Like if you want to imagine like building a Call of Duty map in Halo, you can do that. Just to give you a very small example of what you can do. You want to build a battle royale style type of map, you could probably do it, and you can make it look like anything. There's been people in the community that have that have access to the pre-alpha, which is less than what's going to be released. And they've made like Andy's room from Toy Story and all sorts of other stuff. It's amazing. And later on, we're also going to have a custom game browser that's going to come out for that game. So I think it's safe to say that a lot of people are going to migrate over from the traditional modes that are in this game to the custom game browser in terms of what the community is going to create as well. Because a lot of people are not just going to create a whole bunch of crazy stuff, but they're also going to create a lot of the stuff that the community's been asking for quite a while. And if 343 doesn't get to that before the custom game browser comes out, I think a lot of people are going to migrate over. This even includes ranked game modes that haven't been put into the game. So with ranked rules, at least, you know, maybe not the ranked system put in there, but the rules. And at the same time, it's like 343 is going to also see more feedback, but more than ever, it's like, hey, our community is going over here. So it's like, hey, we need to make something like that. I mean, granted, there's a lot of things that have changed recently, and better things are slowly but surely starting to happen actually already. As a matter of fact, since the video I made yesterday, it's like I basically said we're not going to be seeing any major changes. But let me tell you, one thing that we have seen is that they were going to put microtransactions in the Master Chief Collection, and they've basically backed off on that ever since this change of leadership. It's like, nope, we're not going to put microtransactions in MCC, and the Halo community sees that as a huge win. So, and with the amount of money that Call of Duty makes every quarter, every year, whatnot. Now, granted, there's a microtransaction system that's been making billions of dollars since it was implemented back in, I don't know if it made billions every quarter like it did in Advanced Warfare when it was first implemented, but I'm pretty damn sure the next game in Black Ops 3, I'm pretty sure that's when the billions started to come in every quarter, simply from the microtransaction system. And this was before even the Battle Royale became a thing. And obviously that has been boosted ever since Battle Royale became a thing in Call of Duty, right? So, especially since Warzone. So it's really safe to say right now at this point that multiplayer has kind of taken a sidestep, and Warzone has become the main event, so to speak. It's what it's where the popularity is at, whether you like it or not, and even traditional multiplayer has changed into a mini Warzone, because if you look at it from a publisher standpoint, it's like, okay, what makes us the most money? Warzone. Oh, okay, how do we get more players into Warzone? You know, how do we get more of our players that buy our game for like the multiplayer into that? Because that's where the money's at. How do we do that? Well, we turn the regular traditional multiplayer kind of into a mini Warzone. And at least that's my theory, at least. You know, if you don't know Call of Duty, it's like that would make sense to you, right? From a business standpoint. So it's like, you know, we're going to turn this into like a mini version of this. And if they like it, it's kind of like a sample. And if they like it, they're going to move on to Warzone, which increases their chances of buying microtransactions and all sorts of things that we have on sale over there. And yeah, there we go. So, and at the same time, again, Warzone is just popular the way it is. But Battlefield has a custom game browser or whatnot. I remember Doom 2016 had a custom, what'd they have? No, they had a map editor as well. So it's like, it's all there. So it's like, how is it that a game that makes that much money and is that's so popular year after year, how does that just not happen? And again, another theory is that, again, similar to Halo, if 343 doesn't get there in time, I think with Call of Duty, like for instance, let's say the maps in Modern Warfare the second are just like Modern Warfare 2019, right? Which some players like and some players don't. So in the way the players play today and the way they prefer to play, more tactical, I guess, and less arcadey, they're probably going to like that. Especially since not moving in a game like that is something that actually is an advantage over movement, which is you know, which for me personally is heartbreaking, but hey, it is what it is. Hence one of the main reasons why I don't play it anymore. At least the new ones. And then the old ones, I think they shut down the Black Ops 4 servers. But don't worry, Thunder. When Microsoft takes over, I'm pretty sure they're going to turn on the Black Ops 4 multiplayer servers again. But anyway, going back to that, like, obviously the map design in Modern Warfare 2019 was one of the big things that was very controversial within the community, right? At least the community like us, the people that watch videos or that make videos. So again, we're still in the minority, I guess, but yeah, one of the big things was the maps. So in Modern Warfare 2, it's already kind of been leaked or rumored that it's pretty much going to be the same. Doors have pretty much been confirmed, and plus there's other things that have been implemented that allow you to understand where footsteps are coming from even easier. So it's like, oh, whatever. So it's like, okay, I can't move or else I'm going to get punished. But it would be a lot easier to move around, and things would be a little bit more predictable and less random if the map design was a little bit more towards what Call of Duty used to be. And it doesn't even have to be a 3-lane map design. I know a lot of people see the 3-lane map design, they're like, oh, fuck 3-lane maps and all that kind of stuff. But really though, I mean, I think it's also just a preference of play style, but at the same time, you can make good maps that are not 3-lane maps. So, and at the end of the day, I think that's one of the people's biggest concerns with Call of Duty today, specifically the people that prefer to move around, or they prefer a little bit more of a balanced play style in terms of what goes on in the game. So I think a big game changer is if they had a custom game browser as well as a map editor. I think a lot of the community would actually make the classic maps the way they used to be without the doors and all that other stuff. And who knows, maybe they might even change certain game rules as well to make it even more rusher friendly, to where you're not punished for moving around. I think a lot of people would migrate over, and I think that's one of the reasons that why they didn't do that, because publishers want you to play what they want to play. They want to influence you as to what's popular, whether you like it or not. So, because that's how they make their money. So at the end of the day, it's like, okay, that's the direction that they're heading in. And that's, for me personally, as a person that is, despite the fact that I really haven't played the game in a while in terms of Call of Duty, I'm always interested to see whenever one of these events that's taking place today happens, you know, where they reveal the multiplayer and all that kind of stuff. I'm always interested to see in terms of the differences, the changes and stuff like that. Did they go easy on the doors this time, or did they double up on the doors? Are there more lines of sight? Are there less lines of sight? Changes to the create a class system, which one of the things that I've read upon very recently is that you don't have to grind for the same weapon attachment for every single gun in the game. It's more like for the class. So like, let's say you have a suppressor unlocked for the assault rifle class for a certain weapon. Guess what? You can use a suppressor on the other assault rifles as well. So, and I think you can also mix and match with SMGs and stuff like that. So, so yeah, I think that's actually a step ahead, but we're going to see what else comes with it, you know, because whenever it seems like there's a, you know how they have the pros and cons for the attachments and stuff like that. Well, it seems like there's pros and cons to the, like if they create something that's like really cool in the game, it's like there's going to be something else that'll counter that. It's like, yeah, you get this cool thing, but there's this, you know, who knows, it might take much longer just to unlock one attachment, right? So because at this point, I mean, we all know how a big concern right now with this Call of Duty is that you know, there's pay to win aspects to it already, in terms of like when you know, you can, like if you buy this edition of the game or whatnot, you get this weapon blueprint that has all the attachments unlocked. So you're already at an advantage because you have all the attachments unlocked, which you can obviously use with other weapons probably as well because of how this is created. So that's pay to win. And for everybody else, it's like, how long are they going to have to grind before they unlock everything? So Call of Duty players appreciate the grind. You know, that's why we like a traditional prestige system and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like, we don't want it to feel like it's, you know, we don't want to feel like it's a job. It's supposed to be fun, not a job. So it's like, you know, if it takes an entire prestige to unlock, you know, just a handful of attachments, it's like, not good. So we never know what there's going to be on the other end of that. And while I'm on the subject, obviously, of Call of Duty, moving on to SM Squared. Now, these developers that are making SM Squared or SM2, they are basically, they're amazing developers because they're doing this in their spare time. They got you know, jobs that they're doing elsewhere and stuff like that. They got to pay the bills, you know, they got to put food on the table and all that kind of stuff, just like the rest of us. So they're basically doing this on their spare time, and they are constantly making improvements. They're updating us on their site. There's a Discord as well, which is great. You know, there's just transparency there as best as possible. They upload videos, you know, every once a month they have like every 1 month or every couple months they have like update blogs or whatnot in there with some footage or some updates on their website. So there's communication being made, which is great. It's one of the main things that we, the players, would ever ask for the publisher. So I have a very interesting question. Now, we all know that Microsoft is taking over in 2023. If not sooner than that. Some people are saying it might be in December. Who knows? But long story short, it's probably going to be in 2023. So with Microsoft taking over, there's a unique story that happened with a game called Psychonauts 2. Great game, by the way. If you have Game Pass, or you know, if you're just interested in platformers, get that game. Amazing game. But anyway, Psychonauts 2 basically almost had to stop the production somewhere in the production of the game, because they actually ran out of money. They didn't have any more support, and it was basically, you know, so they almost had to stop. But then Microsoft basically picked them up and said, you know what, we're going to fund you. We've got you. Take all the time you need. Complete your game. And I think there were even possibly more people that were brought into the team to help as well, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not too sure on that. But long story short, Microsoft came to the rescue, and that game ended up getting nominated for Game of the Year. It didn't win, but that's besides the point. It's still a terrific game. I've played it myself, and definitely a great game. I highly recommend it for anybody who's a fan of platformers. So for the SM squared people or the SM2 people, it's like, what if Microsoft came to you guys, right? Especially since they're going to be in charge of Call of Duty and all that kind of stuff. If they came to you guys and said, hey, we want to fund you, and, you know, take all the time you need, finish your game, and your game is going to be released on Game Pass as well, or whatever the deal is. Which would obviously give the game more popularity and all that kind of stuff, and more accolades coming your way and everything like that, and maybe even be rewarded for all the time that you've put in from just a level of pure passion to develop this, which I think I speak for the rest of the Call of Duty community, that we appreciate that, and we thank you for doing what you're doing with that game, and we can't wait for your game to get released. If Microsoft came in and offered help, would you take it? And if so, what are your terms and conditions? Or what red flags would you look for? Because there's usually a give and take when it comes to deals like that, but I don't know enough about that, so perhaps you guys do, so you can tell me, or anybody in the comments section can tell me, because that would be awesome. That would be awesome. I would love for something like that to happen if it was done correctly, obviously. So with that being said, guys, what do you guys think about the custom game editor? Do you have hopes for them and the map editor as well? Do you guys have hopes for Modern Warfare 2? Let me know down in the comment section, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.